According to the Pew Research Center, More Americans Discussing and Planning End-of-Life Treatment, January 5, 2006, over the past 5 years, more than 4 in 10, 42% of Americans have had a relative or a close friend suffer from a terminal illness. Death with Dignity laws, also known as physician-assisted dying or aid in dying laws, according to deathwithdignity.org, Death with Dignity National Center, last accessed October 15, 2006. As of June 9, 2016, California, Oregon, Vermont, and Washington have Death with Dignity statutes. In Montana, physician aid in dying is legal by state Supreme Court ruling. My minor is in ethics for healthcare professionals philosophy, so physician ethics for extensively. I want to talk about 3 points as related to physician aid in dying. What physician aid in dying is and isn't, what is one argument in support of physician aid in dying, and what is one argument in opposition of physician aid in dying. By the end of this speech, I want you to be able to make an informed decision on where you stand on this particular issue. So, what is physician aid in dying? According to departments.washington.edu, Department of Bioethics and Humanities at the University of Washington School of Medicine, last access October 15, 2016, physician aid in dying, PAD, refers to a practice in which a physician provides a competent, terminally ill patient with a prescription for a lethal dose of medication upon the patient's request, which the patient intends to use to end his or her own life. This is not to be confused with euthanasia. According to departments.washington.edu, Department of Bioethics and Humanities at the University of Washington School of Medicine, last access October 15, 2016, while both physician aid in dying and euthanasia involve the use of lethal medication to deliberately end a patient's life, the key difference is in who acts to administer the medication that will end the patient's life. In physician aid in dying, the patient must self-administer the medication. The aiding in dying, in this case, refers to the physician providing the medication, but the patient ultimately decides when to ingest the lethal medication. Euthanasia occurs when a third party administers medication or acts directly to end the patient's life. Euthanasia is illegal in every state. In the United States, the criteria in order to qualify for physician aid in dying, according to deathwithdignity.org, Death with Dignity National, last access October 15, 2016, you have to be a resident of California, Oregon, Vermont, or Washington, be 18 years of age or older, be mentally competent, i.e. capable of making and communicating your own healthcare decisions, and you have to be diagnosed with a terminal illness that will, within reasonable medical judgment, lead to death within 6 months. You must also be able to self-administer and ingest the prescribed medication. One argument in support of physician aid in dying is that it should be legal because medical decisions should be left to patients and their family members. In the Viewpoint article, Timothy E. Quill, MD from the Palliative Care Division, Department of Medicine, University of Rochester Medical Center in Rochester, New York, and colleagues say it should be an option in the continuum of care. I quote, "Patients with serious illnesses wish to have control over their own bodies, their own lives, and concern about future physical and psychosocial distress. Some view potential access to physician-assisted death as the best option to address these concerns," they write. One argument against physician-assisted dying is that it should be illegal because it will target vulnerable populations. For example, in an article on why disability rights advocates are fighting doctor-assisted suicide, The Atlantic of June 30, 2016, said California legislators are considering a bill that would allow terminally ill patients to get prescriptions to end their lives. Disability rights advocates are speaking up in opposition. They worry that if it becomes law, depression and incorrect prognosis may lead people with serious disabilities to end their lives prematurely. The bill poses considerable dangers to people with new disabilities who may have suicidal thoughts, said Marlene Golding, a senior policy analyst at the Disability Rights and Education Fund, quoted in The Atlantic of June 30, 2015. "It would almost be too easy to make an irreversible choice," she said. It could lead to people giving up on treatment and losing good years of their lives. Golden added that many people who initially receive terminal diagnosis have lived full lives for years or even decades longer than expected. You've heard both arguments in support and opposition. Make both choice on this particular topic. To conclude, I want to share with you part of a video of a woman who was diagnosed with a terminal illness. I want you to imagine you're in her situation, and I want you to answer this question. Both have when faced with a terminal illness and only 6 months to live.
The thoughts that go through your mind when you find out you have so little time is everything that you need to say to everyone that you love. So after getting married is when I first started experiencing the headaches, and they were quite severe. And I didn't understand them because I had never had anything like that before in my life. Right when I was diagnosed, my husband and I were actively trying for a family, which is heartbreaking for us both. And then I was diagnosed this past New Year's. We went away to the wine country for kind of a New Year's Eve celebration, and by Jan 1, the following day, I was diagnosed with cancer and told I was terminally ill. I was told I had a grade 2 astrocytoma, and was told anywhere from 3, maybe 5, up to 10 years to live. I have to tell you, when you're 29 years old, being told you have that kind of timeline still feels like you're being told you're gonna die tomorrow. 70 days post-op, I went in for another MRI and was told I had had a grade change. They were looking and saying it looks like grade 4, which is the worst and most aggressive form of brain cancer. It's called a glioblastoma. So that was a major shock to my system and the system of my family, because it went from having potentially years of time to being told I had like 6 months. My parents spent a couple months, they just wanted to search for a miracle.